Hello.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Very good, thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lily Excellence Center free online course. I am Leila Mostofi. I'm founder of Lily Excellence Center. I'm senior consultant midwife, and we are honored to have a pool of experts with us in Lily Excellence Center. We are a multi-national organization headquartered in London, UK. Our expertise lies in OB/GYN midwifery services of global standard. We offer OB/GYN, family health and midwifery services to clients from various countries offer training and certification to aspiring midwives, healthcare professionals, and caregivers. Conduct workshops to generate awareness on the benefit of natural birth and midwifery, family health, SRHR support, and woman empowerment, and work tirelessly in all related fields to achieve our ultimate goal, the betterment and progress of this class is a chance to interact with the pioneers in the industry, listen to their experience, and get an insight into the challenges, success stories, progress, and opportunities that are unique to this line of work. You can participate and share your own experience if you wish, or simply sit back and get an understanding of how we work. You can ask questions, inquire about certification if you find yourself just inclined, and simply spend your time gaining knowledge about the field that is gaining momentum across the globe. So today's program is about bereavement management in midwifery and obstetric. Today we have Diane Lockhart, Irish trained midwife, and who's running birth center in Uganda with huge experience that she's waving at you, and our senior midwife consultant, Mrs. Gail Johnson from Canada. Yes, we are so honored to have all of you with us, and we are so happy we got many attendees and registration from different countries. It's unbelievable that after these years, we have a new connections, and every time we see new faces from different countries. We have attendees from Middle East, Europe, Iran, UK, US, and Africa, plus Kuwait, Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, Germany, Indonesia, Bangladesh, and UAE, Abu Dhabi, Uganda, and still coming. I will give you the list of attendees. All of you welcome. Please, first of all, write from which country you are joining us. Write your name and the country you are coming from for this training. Thank you so much. Yeah, we have from Muscat, USA, Serbia, Canada, Peru, Iraq, Iran, India, Indonesia, China, France, Norway, Jordan, Australia, Great Britain, Ireland, South Africa, Uganda, Denmark, Germany, Austria, and Sweden. Yes, Alice from Rwanda, Nivedita Sami from India. Welcome from India. And Hadi from Texas. Sarah from Tunisia. Wow, wonderful. Dear friends from different countries. Mahsa from Qatar. Yes. Stella from Oman. Yes. أهلا سهلا. قابلات محترمات. Yes. Betsy from Qatar. Azhar from UK. Good evening, Khadija. Okay, great. Yes. Hawa from Somalia. Yes. Espergion from Oman. Espergion, right, from Oman. Yes. We are so happy to see these beautiful faces from different countries. Please turn on your camera. Let me see your beautiful face. and we get more interact with you during this session. Yes, right, please. Okay, just a housekeeping before we get started. If you have any question during the presentation, please type them in the chat box. Thank you so much for turning on your camera. لطفاً ویدیوتون روشن کنین عزیزانم در طی کلاس. Sorry, I'm talking Persian and Arabic in between because I want to reach my voice to everybody. Oh my God, don't say Mahsa. Mahsa mentioned I'm not beautiful right now. Don't say Mahsa. I've seen you. You're so beautiful. Don't tell me such this word. Mahsa was our attendee for our suturing technique workshop. So I know her very well. Yes, and she's in Qatar now. So don't worry, I will bring all of your questions up during the after presentation if necessary, or we will also have time for questions at the end. To keep the quality of the sound, please, for this sound function during the meeting, please mute yourself when you are not sharing. And I may also mute the room if necessary, but please remember to unmute when you wish to share. Okay, please turn on your camera and write your name and from which country you are. Yeah. Yes. Introduce yourself. Then we will start our session with Diane Lockhart, 1 hour training with Diane. And after that, we have a small Q&A session. Then we will have communication skill tips for midwife with Gail Johnson. At the end of the session, we will introduce some of our training committee members, Dr. Edson and Dr. Farzaneh Golbani from Brazil and Iran. So please mention your name and country you are joining from. Thank you so much. Please turn on your camera. لطفاً ویدیوتون رو حتما در کلاس روشن بذارید. Thank you. Midwife Carol Olympic, Peninsula, Washington State, USA. Welcome, Carol from USA. Thank you. Yes. We are waiting to hear from you. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, if you are ready, let's start our session with our fantastic training. I want Diane to introduce herself in 5 minutes, then we start the class. Thank you so much. Please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. Thank you. Over to you, Diane, please. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. As Lily says, my name is Diane. I come from Northern Ireland, which is where I trained. I've been a midwife for almost 25 years now, and before that I worked as a sick children's and neonatal nurse. For the last 6 years I've been working in Uganda, where I opened a small birth center. Whenever Lily asked me to do this session, she said I was an expert in this subject. I don't think I'm an expert in anything, but unfortunately, where we stay in Uganda, I work in a slum population, which has a very, very high perinatal mortality rate. So maybe through default, I'm an expert just because of what we see in the slum. I'm really excited when I do these sessions for Lily. I'm so thrilled because to be able to communicate with people all over the process, it's just incredible. So it's really lovely to see everybody so far over the world. If you can't, I have my fan on. Lily, can you hear me okay? You can hear. If somebody cannot hear, my fan, if I don't have the fan on, I'll be going like this the whole time.
Yeah, it's fantastic. No, the voice is completely okay. There is no extra noise and no disturbance. I hope everybody are fine with that. If everybody is okay, please mention number 1 in your chat, in the chat box. I'll be sure that you are getting the proper sound. Yeah, proper sound function. Please write in the chat box if you are okay. Sound good, Diane. Okay, thank you, Turin. Thank you.
Okay.
Nivedita is clear.
So
okay, thank you. Let's go on, please.
Sometimes I speak very fast. As Irish, we speak very fast. So if I'm speaking too fast, please indicate, and Lily can tell me to slow down. So tonight we're discussing, probably for me as a midwife, one of the most difficult issues that arise in our job. And fortunately, for most of the time, our job does not involve this, but sometimes it does. And how we deal with it, both for ourselves and for the mothers and families in our care, it can have a huge impact on their lives that follow ahead. I'm not very technical, everybody, so just bear with me while I put you on my screen. Okay, the host has disabled my screen sharing. It's just saying the host disabled participant screen sharing.
It must work now. Can you check now? Yes, it's working.
Okay. Screen share. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's everybody? Okay. Yeah, thanks, Lily. So it's a very difficult subject, I think, for any of us to deal with, and I think it's one of the most human subjects that we have to talk about. We're all human beings, and at some point of our lives, we've all experienced loss in so many ways. And I think the first important thing to recognize is when you're dealing with families that are grieving, grief does not just involve the loss of a child or the loss of a baby or the loss of a mother. Grief can be involved in so many different things around that subject. So it has to be said at the beginning of this that this is a very sensitive subject. We will be discussing childbirth loss. I will be showing some photographs, tasteful ones, and there.
Sorry, Diane. Sorry, Diane. Your voice.
Because I want to show photographs of babies that have passed on.
Your voice is breaking.
But there is a purpose for me showing those pictures. But if anybody has been recently bereaved, please just be aware that this session is going to be discussing things like that. So we will fully understand. I'll give you warnings before things are going to be shown. So
Okay, I guess we lost Diane connection. So you're waiting, she come back again to us. Yeah, we'll try to work on the voice. Don't worry. Okay. Diane, can you please again try and connect? I'm sending you a request. Diane, I guess because you're sharing presentation, maybe your internet speed will be slow. So
is that it now?
your voice is clear, but when you start your presentation, I guess the internet speed will come down. So that's why we will not get your voice properly. It comes with breaking voice.
Okay, let me try again.
Yeah, or you can close your video during your presentation. Maybe it will be helpful.
Oh, of me, my video of me. Okay.
But now again, no, even without presentation, your voice is breaking. Okay, dear friends, welcome.
Maybe it's just my internet. Hold on.
Now it's okay.
Can I try again? It's okay now?
Now it's okay, yeah, but I hope when you start, it doesn't break.
Okay, well, let me carry on. I'll keep my video off.
I guess you can try. If you can't send your presentation to us through WhatsApp, maybe we can share and just you talk from that side. Maybe it can be helpful. But anyhow, we'll try again. Let's try.
What do I need to do to try? What do you mean to try?
You can send your presentation to WhatsApp. We will share from our RT unit, and you.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get somebody to come and help me do that.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm not very.
Diane has a student from Germany, and she has a good help today. Okay, I think your video can be on because there is no difference. This was just suggestion. You can keep your video on. I want to see your beautiful face.
Do I need to send it to WhatsApp?
Yeah, if you can send to WhatsApp, maybe you can share from here.
Yeah, I don't know, you see, Lily, if I do it from this one.
Now your voice is good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's very nice now.
Let me just do it with this one then.
Okay, do it. Here. Try again. So turn on your camera too. It's okay. I think now it's very good.
Okay, because I'm not doing this.
Let's try. In the meantime, you can send your presentation.
Hi, Diane. Hi, Diane. You can continue talking, and you can, it's not necessary to show the presentation. You can just read it through. You can keep talking to people.
Oh, okay. But is it okay now?
This is fine. Yeah.
Now it's fine.
Can you hear me? Okay, let's try. Thank you. Let's just try from here then. Okay. So where did we get to? Let me see. Okay. So everybody can hear me again. Is that okay?
Now it's clear.
Okay. So I think, yeah, so really just the subject of the session tonight is just to address some of the issues that we as health professionals, we have to take into consideration whenever we are dealing with these mothers who have had childbirth loss. And tonight we're just going to go through some of those issues, considering just a few statistics, global statistics. We're going to look at what the definition of perinatal loss is. We'll discuss briefly what grief is. We all know what grief feels like, but what exactly is grief and what is the impact that it has on families? The process of grief, I'm sure those of us who have all studied in midwifery and obstetrics, we all know all the theories of grief, but this is more of a practical thing and realistic from experience of working with mothers who have lost. Focusing on the importance of good communication and what our role as health professionals are, and of course the practicalities of supporting, providing support and comfort to those grieving families. So I think it's really important that we just look at those main issues and taking into consideration that this is a very sensitive subject. Just a few of the statistics. There's approximately 810 women die each year through preventable causes in pregnancy and childbirth. And in Uganda, that equates to 1 in every 49 women who become pregnant. So that's a huge number. Approximately 2 million babies are born each year are stillborn each year, with over 40% of those happening during labor. Now for us, again, in Uganda, we all live in different countries. the reasons that happen are sometimes very sadly very clear, and there are so many that are preventable. Over 6,700 newborns die every day, amounting to 47% of all under 5s deaths. And that's from the International Confederation of Midwives. So for me, that's quite shocking that 50% of babies under 5 die because of pregnancy and childbirth related conditions. So just to define what perinatal loss is, there is so many aspects of childbirth loss. We could look into so many different parts of it, so many different experiences, people that are involved, but unfortunately we don't have time to do all of that. So we're just going to focus on what perinatal loss is, as most of us are working within that field. Perinatal, of course, is the period surrounding birth and traditionally includes the time from fetal viability, from about 24 weeks of pregnancy up to 28 days of life. The mortality, therefore, is fetal death after 24 completed weeks of pregnancy. Now, these are the UK statistics. I know that the World Health Organization, they actually say 28 days of completed UK guidelines. So the 24 completed weeks. A stillbirth, and I think having seen the work that happens in hospitals here, sorry. Sorry, it'll stop now. Sorry, that was part of one of my videos. I don't know how it came on. Apologies for that. So a stillbirth, I think sometimes is misdiagnosed because a stillbirth is essentially a baby that is born or expelled, as the definition says. It's not a very nice word, but the definition says expelled from its mother that shows no sign of life. So no heartbeat, no breathing, no sign of life whatsoever. Neonatal mortality is the death of a baby before the natal is considered up to 7 days. So yes, we could look at miscarriage, we could look at post-abortive, we could look at so many different aspects, but tonight we're just going to be focusing on the perinatal. So the important thing to recognize about perinatal grief is it's just as painful as any other form of grief, any other form of loss. But with perinatal grief, we have some very significant distinctions. Mothers see childbirth loss as a huge failure, not only personal, but in biological as well. And their loss of identity. So that whole 9 months that they're planning and preparing for to give birth to their child, they're going to be a mother. Those of us who are parents, we all dream of being parents, and that identity is very, very cruelly taken away from them. It's very easy for us to say that when we lose somebody older. I have such wonderful memories of my mum. I have such wonderful memories of my dad. But with these mothers, they don't have memories. Some of them have a few memories, but a lot of these mothers, they don't get the joy of having any recognizable memories with their babies. And therefore, their hopes for the future, they just struggle to try and see what lies ahead. Of course, fear of future births, fear of having babies again. So there's a lot of very big distinctions with the grief surrounding perinatal loss. Of marriage breakups is the loss of a child, because they just can't cope with blame and shame and who's caused what. But of course, that's very rarely the case. So what is grief? Just a definition of grief. Grief can be described in short as the mourning of a loss, usually of a loved one, that is easily expanded to cover any loss that represents core parts of our lives and is inarguably life's greatest source of stress, calling into question our meaning in life, So again, something is taken away from us, and we question why this has happened and how are we going to go through life with this loss. And of course, with everything, there are so many myths and understandings about grief. One of which is that all loss is the same. Of course, all loss is not the same. But the important thing to remember about that, especially in childbirth loss, if we look at some of our beliefs around things like miscarriage, abortion, stillbirth, a mother who has miscarried a baby is going to feel in her heart very, very much the same as a mother that has lost her baby. In some cases, some women will deal with it better than others. But at the end of the day, a loss is a loss, and every individual deals with that loss in a different way. All of us grieve in the same way. We don't. We definitely don't grieve in the same way. Working in Uganda, they are so incredibly strong with grief. Their coping mechanisms, their ability to move on with life, their ability to get through life, even after some quite devastating losses. So we don't grieve in the same way. Grief does not decline steadily over time. And in some experiences, actually, grief can actually increase. I know I lost my mother 2 years ago, and it was very hard at the time, but even 2 years, I still suffer that loss terribly. And sometimes it's even more poignant whenever I'm having my own struggles and you miss that loss so much more. Of course, when grief is resolved, it will always come up again. And infant death is not easy to get over because you never knew the baby. Some people around grief and loss, they say the most ridiculous things to women. And we know that it's their way of trying to make themselves feel less uncomfortable and thinking they're saying something to help a mother, but unfortunately they don't. Of course, a mother, even though she didn't know her baby, is going to miss her baby, and it's going to be very difficult to get over. Children, another myth is that children need to be protected from grief. I think that's a very personal and a very individual aspect of childbirth loss, that only the parents can make that decision. I think, though, that if you look at the research around childbirth loss and involving siblings and children, there is a lot of research to say that whilst it's very difficult for the parents to address that with younger children, that in the long run, it is actually beneficial for the children to be part of that process, from being able to acknowledge that they had a brother or a sister, be able to acknowledge that this sort of thing happens in life, and it allows them to help in the future, to be helped in the future to cope with such things. Children do not grieve like adults, of course they don't. And again, you know, the reason I say that is, in my years of being a sick children's nurse, I worked very briefly in the children's hematology unit. So with many children who were dying of cancer and other issues as well. And the most difficult thing to deal with in those situations was not the child that was dying, it was actually the family that were losing their child. The children just have such an acceptance at a certain age. So it's very important just to look at children as individuals and make an assessment as to how you feel that you can support those parents to support their children. And of course, just because how strongly we grieve doesn't mean how much we loved our babies. But certainly we all love and we grieve in different ways. Grieving parents do not have a relationship with a dead child. I think this is one of the most ridiculous things, that just because the child has gone, people believe that they can now move on with life. They can take the next step. The child is dead, the child is in a better place, and they believe that parents do not think of that child. And that in itself is a very, very wrong aspect. So, oops, sorry. Okay, very briefly, we don't need to go into this in depth, because I think we've all suffered grief at times, and it affects everybody in so many different ways. There are many theories of grief cycles, but this is just a combination It makes me think of the deepest grief in my heart that I can ever imagine, that there is no getting out of that grief. So it's not just feeling sad like you've lost a dog or a cat. This is a deep, profound sadness. Shock, which of course we deny that somebody has died. We're in shock, and it can actually lead on to post-traumatic stress disorder with many women, especially when they go on to have more babies and try to increase their families. It can cause some very, very difficult issues for that time. Of course, depression, anger, guilt. Mothers will feel, did I cause this? I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't go out to parties, I look after myself, I eat well, my pregnancy has been perfect. Why has this happened? What have I done? And of course, other people, she will think other people are looking at her as well, that she has in some way caused this. Irritability, not being able just to cope with the simple things in life, changes in eating, changes in sleeping. And these things don't just happen in an acute phase of grief. They happen throughout a woman's life. And it's very, very important that whilst we are not constantly for years on end caring for these women, we must, at the beginning, we must put in place something that is going to provide relief and comfort from those different aspects of grief that we all know happens. I am terrified of losing people I love. And I'm speaking from my own personal opinion. I don't cope well with grief. And a lot of these fears are very, very poignant, because a lot of grief comes down to fear, loss of control, crying in front of people. We hate crying in front of people, but we have to accept that we're human. And even as midwives, we are still human. So we need to remember that when we're dealing with these mothers. It's not about putting up a hard exterior. Very often when we grieve, we look weak to other people, and the tears never seem to stop. And we're unable to bear that loss and move on. Through all the years that I've been caring for women who have lost pregnancies and babies and children, one of the biggest things they fear is not being able to get out of this particular chapter of their lives and move forward. They just see this child every day, every minute, and they don't know where their life is going to take them without that child. And one of the biggest fears is that the child might be forgotten. We look at our children and we think, I could never forget my child, but that's because we see them day in, day out. We talk to them, we see photographs. But these children, they just are so afraid that these children will be forgotten. So just for this next little section, again, there are so many issues around childbirth loss, and we don't have time for it, but these are just a few of the main issues. And again, I'm not going to deal with all of them, but this was the Canadian Pediatric Society, the Fetus and Newborn Committee. And these were the issues that they highlighted as being the main issues around perinatal mortality. Communication, decision-making, creating memories, acknowledging grief, sibling care, family care following death, and increasing healthcare professional skills. So tonight we're increasing healthcare professional skills, I hope, by doing this session. So we won't go into detail with that. The main ones that I'm going to talk about tonight are communication, decision-making, creating memories, and acknowledging grief, because I think in the acute stage of grief, those are where our main role lies in terms of our roles as obstetricians and as midwives and nurses. Lily, could we maybe play the first video clip? So that this next video, it's not actually about childbirth loss, but it's a wonderful video that I use frequently for teaching on childbirth, on any sort of death. And the purpose of this video is I want you to listen to the words that the doctor is saying to the mother. And I want you to think in your head the interaction between the lady who has been given the bad news and the doctor who is giving her that bad news. It makes me quite uncomfortable to watch it, because I just think how How could anybody like sit in an office and speak to somebody and give bad news like this? So watch the video, it's just a few minutes long, and just be thinking about the interactions between the two people. Okay. It's the very beginning, Lily. That's it.
Is it okay?
They are constitutionally averse.
Yeah. I can't hear it, Lily.
You can't hear the voice? Oh, really?
I can't hear the video.
I can't hear it either.
Very aggressive.
Let me try what's
Yes.
the problem with that.
Very.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
The IT system should sort it out.
Any questions so far?
Can you check now, please?
No, you're being
That's it
very-
now.
I make a point of it, and I always emphasize it with my students.
Oh, so do I. Thoroughness, I always tell my students, but they are constitutionally averse to painstaking work.
Yours too.
Oh, it's worse every year.
Well, mine are blind.
Just let the hope.
Yeah, it's gone off again.
Voice is getting off.
Very aggressive.
It's not audible yet.
Possible.
No, it goes off.
Why
Oh,
not teach next semester?
Ask the question.
First week of each cycle will be hospitalized for keeping.
just 1 second. We are sorting out. IT system is working on that. Just 1 second. Okay. Thank you for being patient with us. Just 1 second. If you give us time, we are sorting out the sound of the videos. Let's try now.
Treatment each cycle.
How is it now?
After the initial 8 cycles, we'll have another battery.
Is it audible?
Neoplasm inevitably affects
It's very quiet.
the nose line and the gastric.
Oh.
Tract next.
Okay. They're trying it.
Tumor spreading very.
No idea yet.
Very
Okay.
aggressive.
It will come now.
Yeah, that's better.
I think now it's audible.
You have cancer. Miss Berry, you have advanced metastatic ovarian cancer.
Go on.
You are a professor, Miss Berry.
Like yourself, Dr. Kalikian.
Oh, yes. Now then, you present with a growth that unfortunately went undetected in stages 1, 2, and 3. Now it is an insidious adenocarcinoma.
Insidious.
Insidious means undetectable at an early stage.
Insidious means treacherous.
Shall I continue?
Oh, by all means.
Good. In invasive epithelial carcinoma, the most effective treatment modality is a chemotherapeutic agent. We are developing an experimental combination of drugs designed for primary site ovarian with a target specificity of stage 3 and beyond administration. Am I going too fast?
No.
You will be hospitalized as an inpatient for treatment each cycle. After the initial 8 cycles, you will have another battery of tests. The antineoplastic will inevitably affect some healthy cells, including those lining the gastrointestinal tract from the lips to the anus and the hair follicles. We will, of course, be relying on your resolve to withstand some of the more pernicious side effects. Miss Berry?
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Do you have any questions so far?
Please go on.
Perhaps some of these terms are new?
No. You're being very thorough.
I make a point of it, and I always emphasize it with my students.
Oh, so do I. Thoroughness, I always tell my students, but they are constitutionally averse to painstaking work.
Yours too.
Oh, it's worse every year.
Well, mine are blind.
Oh, well, mine are deaf.
You just have to hope.
I suppose so.
Where were we, Dr. Berry?
I believe I was being thoroughly diagnosed.
Right. Now, the tumor is spreading very quickly, and this treatment is very aggressive. So far, so good?
Yes.
Better not teach next semester.
Out of the question.
The first week of each cycle, you'll be hospitalized for chemotherapy. The next week, you may feel a little tired. The next 2 weeks will be fine, relatively.
It's 8 months like that.
This treatment is the strongest thing we have to offer you. And as research, it'll make a significant contribution to our knowledge.
Knowledge. Yes.
Here is the informed consent form. Should you agree, you sign there at the bottom. Is there a family member you want me to explain this to?
Oh, that won't be necessary.
Good. The important thing is for you to take the full dose of chemotherapy. There may be times when you'll wish for a lesser dose due to the side effects, but we've got to go full force. Dr. Berry?
Yes.
You must be very tough. Do you think it could be very tough?
You needn't worry.
Good. Excellent.
I should have asked more questions.
That's it, Lily.
You, there was...
Yeah, no matter how many times I watch that, I feel uncomfortable. But I hope you saw a few things that in your own practice that you wouldn't be doing. And really, it's all about communication. Nothing in life is about communication. And just in light of what we've just watched with that video, I know it wasn't about childbirth loss, but our ways and our ability to communicate with these mothers is one of our biggest skills. It's one of our biggest, I won't say talent, but it's one of our biggest needs in terms of what we're doing. So we're just going to go through the do's and don'ts of grief care, and a few of the issues will come out. Whenever we're talking about grief, many of us feel afraid. We don't know what to say. And one of the things that I've learned, a very brief story of a young mother who lost a baby through stillbirth. It was actually a neglectful stillbirth that happened back in my own country some years ago. And when I went to visit her in the house, I'd never met her before. I was community midwife at the time. And when I went into the house, what really surprised me was, of course, she was distraught that her baby had died. But for 3 hours, she talked about nothing except what was said to her. She talked about things that midwives said to her, about how certain midwives made her feel. And those were actually her biggest complaints. Yes, the baby had died, but her lasting memory was as to how she was made to feel by people like you and I in terms of how she was cared for. There was a poll done by Dying Matters where 72% of grieving people said that they would rather people said something rather than nothing, even if it was the wrong thing. Now, again, I think that's a very individual thing, because in relation to childbirth loss, I think we have to be very careful that we don't say the wrong thing, because it could just completely flip somebody over. 52% said that having somebody to listen was one of the 3 most helpful things to help them cope. Now, the big word in that sentence is listen. We very often hear, we very often talk at people, but sometimes we don't really listen, and that's the most important skill here. And the poll found also that people find it very frightening and isolating when they knew that people were uncomfortable and were trying to avoid the subject of the loss of their child, or anybody in their family for that matter. The dues of caring for a grieving parent. Of course, we have to see that every family, every person is unique in how they cope with things like that. And every situation is unique. And by starting, first of all, by simply acknowledging the death, there is no problem in saying, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. And depending on the relationship that you have with that mother, I know us Irish, we hug everybody. And sometimes, you know, it's just in our nature that we say, I'm so, so sorry. And we put our arms around somebody and we show them that we are genuinely sorry. One of the things in the video that comes up very, very strongly is the use of terminology that we use with mothers. This doctor was throwing big words at this woman, and even though she herself was a professor, she was not a professor behind that desk. She was a patient who had just been told that she had ovarian cancer, and he was treating her like a student. He actually said it in the clip. So compassionate terminology, being very careful the words that we use with these mothers, not calling her dead baby a fetus, calling it a baby, even using the name of the baby. Mothers who miscarriage, we don't talk about the miscarriage, we don't talk about the cluster of cells, we talk about a baby, because to that mother, that life is a life, and we must be guided by honesty and respect. We can't skirt around things, because ultimately in the end, the truth is going to come out, and we need to have prepared that mother to be able to cope with all the different aspects that she is having to face after the loss of her baby. Checking your environment. Is it an appropriate environment that you give somebody bad news that their baby is inevitably going to die when you're sitting behind a desk with a big library behind you? Of course, some of us, you know, some of people, they don't have a nice environment. Just maximizing that environment and making sure that the mother is comfortable, that she has a glass of water, that she's in a soft seat, that she has somebody that she knows well with her, the family are involved, and that she's ready to actually deal with all that is about to happen with her. And as I said before, we don't just talk at them, and we need to be comfortable with silence. Sometimes silence just to allow somebody to cry and to think about what is going through their head is so important. Including other family members, I've said, and gentle eye contact. Sometimes in training school, we're all told that a good sign of having a good relationship with somebody is that we maintain good eye contact. Now, if you have somebody who is constantly staring you deep in the eyes and they're talking at you, it can be very, very destructive to that relationship. So it's showing your care through that eye contact and doing it with. If they want their hand held, you will know through that relationship that that person is comfortable with having some physical touch. And of course, appropriate touch, I mean. And the tone that we use in our voice, not condescending, not not feeling sorry for them, but just trying to let them see that whilst we don't understand what they're feeling, that we are trying hard to take some of that weight off their hearts, and just by listening and letting them offload. Allowing time for conversation at their pace is very important. And even asking to see photographs of the baby, again, depending on the situation. If they have, if they are having photographs of the babies, talk about the baby, ask what the baby looked like. Did it look like the mother or the father? And if they want to share more information about their experience of that loss, well, then that has to be done at their pace, and it's not to be done by us. Comments like, this must be so hard for you. I'm not telling them I understand how they feel, because I don't imagine. And I'm just giving them that space to be able to talk. And just by saying, just know that I'm here. That's sometimes all people need to hear. They just need you to say, please pick up the phone if you need something. Phoning them in the day and saying, have you got somebody to go for coffee with? Have you got somebody to spend time with you? Are all very, very important parts of our role as well. And of course, the big do nots, we've all heard these comments, and especially where I am working, it's very, very hard. You're young, you can have another baby. At least you know you can get pregnant. He's not suffering anymore. Don't worry, she's in a better place. Well, at least it wasn't a grown baby. It was only a clump of cells, and it's happened for the best. These are all so common comments that we hear that are very, very insensitive and in no way beneficial to these mothers. So we need to be very careful. If we open our mouth, we have to think about what we're about to say and put ourselves in that mother's shoes. We can't compare our own grief to that of others. Many of you, I'm sure, have had experiences, maybe some of you have even lost your own babies through miscarriage, through stillbirth, or whatever way. That is very unique to you. And a mother knowing that situation can, of course, be helpful, because you are the one that can say, I do know how you feel, but we can't assume that that mother is going to be comfortable with that. So your skill is in identifying that level of relationship that you have with those mothers. Try to avoid cliches like the above. They're all too common. And don't tell stories of others in the same situation and how they coped. Sometimes you'll hear, you'll hear people giving experiences where they say, do you know, I know another mother and something really bad, something even worse than that happened to her baby. It was just terrible. We have to focus on this one mother, like she is the only mother in this world when we are sitting face to face with these women. Don't give advice that you're not trained to give. If you don't know the facts of a situation, don't try and assume. Don't assume how she feels. Don't assume you know why that baby has died. And especially if there is a case of death where there is a possible neglect, don't try and make answers for people, because you could get yourself into a very difficult legal situation as well. And also trying to coerce parents into making decisions that they're not comfortable with. And of course, don't forget daddy and grandparents and brothers and sisters. But we don't have time to go into the ins and outs of that today, but they're a very, very important part of this this whole situation. Okay, do we have, can we work out the second two clips?
Yeah, we have to play your video for second clips. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Going to be a test.
No, it's further on, Lily.
Hi, how are you feeling today? Fine. Great. That's just great.
It's at 14 minutes.
Well, thank you. Were you an English major?
No, biochemistry. But you can't get into med school unless you're well-rounded. And I made a bet with myself that I could get an A in the 3 hardest courses on campus.
How'd you do, Jace?
Success.
Really?
A minus. It was a very tough course. Yeah, I'll call you.
Okay.
Wheel this over. Okay, now, I'm going to be taking your history, which is a medical interview, and then I give you an exam.
I believe Dr. Kalikin has already done that.
Well, I know, but Dr. Kalikin wanted me to do one, too.
Very well.
Okay, let's just get started. How are you feeling today?
Fine, thank you.
Excellent. And how's your general health?
Fine.
Good. Now, we know that you're an academic,
Yes, we've established that.
so we don't need to talk about your interesting work.
No.
How old are you?
48.
Are you married?
No.
Are your parents living?
No.
How and when did they die?
My father, suddenly, of a heart attack when I was 21. My mother, slowly, when I was 41 and 42, of cancer, breast cancer.
Cancer?
Yeah, breast cancer.
I see. Any siblings?
No.
Now I'm going to ask you about your past medical history. Have you ever been hospitalized?
Yes, I had my tonsils out when I was 8.
Have you ever been pregnant?
No.
Heart murmurs?
No.
High blood pressure?
No.
Venereal diseases? Uterine infections?
No.
Thyroid, diabetes, cancer?
No, well, cancer, yes.
Well, when?
Now.
Well, not including now.
In that case, no.
Okay. Clinical depression, nervous breakdowns, suicide attempts?
No.
Do you smoke?
No.
Ethanol?
I beg your pardon.
Alcohol?
Oh, ethanol. Yes, I drink wine.
How much? How often?
A glass with dinner occasionally, and perhaps a scotch every now and then.
Do you use any substances?
Such as?
Marijuana, cocaine, crack cocaine, PCP, ecstasy, pop, or
No.
Do you drink caffeinated beverages?
Oh, yes.
Which ones?
Coffee, a few cups a day.
Okay. How many?
2 to 6. But I really don't think that's immoderate.
How often do you undergo routine medical checkups?
Well, not as often as I should probably, but I felt fine. I really have.
So the answer is...
Every 3 to 5 years.
What do you do for exercise?
Pace.
Are you having sexual relations?
Not at the moment.
Are you pre or postmenopausal?
Post.
When did your period stop?
About 2 years ago.
Okay. When did you first notice your present complaint?
This time now.
Yes.
Oh, well, about 4 months ago, I felt a pain in my stomach, in my abdomen, like a cramp, but not the same.
How did it feel?
Like a cramp.
But not the same.
Duller and stronger, but I can't describe it.
What happened next?
Well, I don't know. I started noticing my body, little things. I would be teaching and feel a sharp pain.
What kind of pain?
Sharp and sudden. Then it would go away, or I would be tired, exhausted. I was working on a major project, the article on John Donne for the Oxford Encyclopedia of English Literature. It was a great honour, but I had a very strict deadline.
So would you say you were under stress?
It wasn't so much more stress than usual. I just couldn't withstand it this time. I don't know. So I went to see Dr. Chin, my gynaecologist, after I'd turned in the article, and explained all this. She examined me and sent me to Jefferson, the internist, who sent me to Kalikian because he thought I might have a tumour.
And that's it?
Till now.
That's very interesting. Well, I guess we'll start the exam. Why don't you just sort of lie back and relax. It won't take a minute. Let me get the sheet here. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. Just feet in the stirrups here. Okay. Okay. Could you just, yeah. There. Okay. Good. Okay. Okay. Oh, I've got to go get Susie. I got to have a girl here, some crazy clinical rule. Don't move, I'll be right back. Susie?
I wish I had given him an A.
Susie?
If you move it on to 22, Lily.
1 is 2. 2 times 2 times 3 is...
All right. All right.
Let's move it on to 22 minutes.
That's it. We're done. Okay.
That was...
No, sorry, back a little bit, Lily, just before the exam.
That was...
All right. Just get this up. Ooh, just relax. Okay. Isn't that interesting, Susie, that I had Professor Bering?
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I had taken some literature. I don't know anything about poetry.
Professor Bering was very highly regarded on campus, looked very good on my transcript that I'd taken her course. They even asked me about it in my interview to medical school. Jesus.
What?
What?
Yeah, I survived Bering's course, and no problem. Yeah, John Donne, those metaphysical poets, that metaphysical wit. Hardest poetry in the English department. I'd like to see them try biochemistry. Okay. We're almost done. All right. Yeah, okay. That's it. We're done. Okay, I gotta go. Take her feet out of... Yeah.
Okay, that's enough, Lily. Okay, so I'm sure you're probably wondering why I've shown you those little videos. But if you look at the experience that lady has just had, it's almost identical to the type of examination that many of our mothers who are going through stillbirths, fertility issues, having babies that are being born dead and so on. And the whole way that he dealt with her was very, very inappropriate in so many ways. Even the way that he was talking about other things, he wasn't looking at her, he wasn't talking to her, he was talking around her and just assuming that she knew everything. And our reaction very often to having to give bad news is one of the first things that that mother will remember. She will remember the face of the midwife as they couldn't see the heartbeat on the scan, or that they couldn't hear the heartbeat, or the baby is born and there's no heartbeat and the baby is dead. Those are the things that mothers and families remember. And we have to be very, very aware, again, of the language and listening. He actually questioned the fact that she had ovarian cancer, and that's what she was there for, and he completely missed that. So it was just a little excerpt to make us think about how we deal with people, especially when we're in an uncomfortable situation. And of course, we all come from all countries of the world. And therefore we have to, I'm not dwell on this, but we have to take into consideration the culture of the place that we are working. We're all cultures, we're all religions, we're all from different places. And therefore we have to make sure that we are respecting all of those, even if they're not our own personal beliefs. We need to make sure that we are respecting that with our mothers and our families. Shared decision making, again, I'm not going to dwell too much on that because we've talked a little bit about what to do and what not to do. And really the whole emphasis of this is that mothers, parents and caregivers are the experts in their own care and that of their children. And therefore, informed consent, which again showed in the videos that it didn't happen, informed consent, providing them with all the information that they need and letting them decide with guidance what is going to be the best way forward for their personal situation. And of course, immediately after death, the first couple of months is the most difficult because you have so many things to decide on: funerals, gravestones, and things like that have to be done very quickly after the baby is born. In Uganda, babies have to be buried within 24 hours of death. And that puts huge pressure on the families because it means that when they are buried in their families, the father's village where they have to be buried, they may have a 12-hour journey to do with that dead baby. And it has to be done within 24 hours. So we have to remember those when we're caring for them. After the 2 months, it's still important to make contact with them because that's when all the visitors go. That's when the meals that people have been making, they stop coming. And all of a sudden, the mother and the family are there on their own, and the reality of their loss very quickly hits home. Now, this little bit is where I'll warn you that there are a couple of photographs of babies whose lives have been lost. They are very tasteful. There's nothing frightening, but I think it's important that we just see the importance of making that memory as memorable for that mother as possible, if it's appropriate and if the mother consents to this being done. And of course, it depends on the individual circumstances. If you're taking photographs of any babies, you must have consent. Very often mothers will not want to see the photographs there and then, but they may come back a year later. So what we do is we take the photographs, we take footprints, we take handprints, and we put them in a memory box. And that mother can take that with them at that time, or they can come back at a later date and get it. This has got to be done with the mother's consent. And sometimes it takes them time to be able to come back from that. So the next few pictures are just really to illustrate how we can make things easier for these mothers. We imagine taking photographs of babies that have died, and why on earth would you take a photograph of a dead baby? For that mother, it's not a dead baby. For that mother, it's her child. And there are very tasteful ways that you can do it. You can put filters on photographs. You can take, of course, we know that babies that have been dead for a long time before they're born can be very macerated, can be very damaged, but you can take photographs of parts of them. So this next slide, just the trigger warning that the pictures are coming up now. So this just shows you how the difference in just putting a different color on a photograph can be. So in the black and white, you can't tell that it's a midwife's hand with a glove, and you can't see the skin starting to peel as much. It just looks like a little baby's hand. Even with very, very tiny miscarriages, we can even make special photographs for those mothers. And I think from memory, this little baby was about 12 or 13 weeks. And it just astounds me at how perfect these little babies are, right from the veins in their hands. And for us, we might question why would a mother want to see that? But actually, this is that mother's child, and it's very important if they choose to have those. Here in Amani, we have many ways that we provide memories. There are some wonderful companies that provide lovely boxes and printed cards and things, but here we don't unfortunately have that. So these are just little things that people send us from home that we have right from miscarriages right up to full term and neonatal deaths, that we can just give them little special things. This was a miscarriage, and the mother was able to take home what she saw as her baby. Now, again, some women may not want to do that, but in this case, this mother was very, very appreciative of this, and she was able to bury her baby. And of course, we do some footprints. We don't write a lot on it, but we just give them the details. We acknowledge the fact that this little baby was alive, and therefore this is a memory that she can hold for as long as she is alive, and when she has other babies, she can show it to them. Now, the next slide is a little bit more graphic, and the reason I'm showing it to you is the importance of making the biggest effort that you can to hide some of the more traumatic things that you can see when a baby dies. We know that babies can be born a little bit macerated with skin coming off and so on. So this next slide is just to demonstrate how easy it is to just make that baby look so that that mother has a much better memory of seeing that baby. So we can see the maceration with this baby on the left, and just by putting clothes on the baby, laying the baby in a Moses basket, never put a baby in a sluice, never, ever, ever put a baby in a sluice. But make that baby a bed, show it in a bed, and let her spend time with that baby. We are very fortunate to have an organization that sends us these lovely little things that we can give for babies, for miscarriages, all shapes and sizes. And they're very, very easy to make. You can actually go online and you can have these made for your unit or for particular babies that you have lost. So we keep a stock of these, and it just means that we can make these babies presentable. And this beautiful little girl is actually the baby of a friend of mine, and all these mothers have given consent for these photographs to be shown. This little baby was born at 32 weeks, but ended up getting necrotizing enterocolitis about a week after she got home from hospital. And this photograph was taken in the car on the way to bury this baby. Now, she was being buried in a Muslim cemetery. And for those of you...
Diane, people want to see the pictures. Can you just put them on? And also would like to know the name of the movie. Somebody wants to know the name of the movie as well. You can put it in the chat box.
Are you not seeing the pictures?
No, you have not shared.
I'm using it. Sorry. I thought you were still seeing my screen. I'm sorry. Okay, let me try. Okay. So can you see now?
You have to share.
Oh, I have to go back and share. I thought I was sharing it all this time. Sorry. Share screen. I can't get onto my Zoom. Hold on. There we go. Now. Sorry, I can't. I'm trying to find where to share. I've gone off my screen, you see. Lily, can you help me here? I can't see the main Zoom screen. I can only see my presentation.
You can press the escape button on the laptop and then you'll see the main screen.
Okay, I've done that, but it's just exit minimized. Sorry. Slideshow. Press escape. Sorry, I can't get onto the it's not letting me sign in.
Or you can just go to Alt and Tab together.
Alt and what?
Tab and Alt.
Tab and Alt. Alt and Tab. Nearly.
Click on, you'll have to press Alt, then, hold it and then press Tab.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
No problem. You can go on, if you're not able to do it. That's fine. Or you can close the presentation, then go to your Zoom, then go to share.
Okay. I don't know what I've pressed here. Tab. It's actually, I can't even see my Zoom. Can I go right out and come back in again?
I guess, yeah, why not? We can try again, but I guess maybe you minimize your Zoom. Go to your toolbar.
All I can see is you, Lily. I can't see anything else on Zoom. It's as if it's signing me out. Can I come back in again?
Sure.
Let me leave and.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Till Diane join us. If you have any questions, please write in the chat box. Thank you so much for joining from different countries, and we are still honored to have all of you in our session. I see we have attendees from different countries who came late. Can you please your name and from which country you are joining us, please? We have new joining now, and I see. Yes. We have actually, we have our joinees from our optimal birth courses with Lily Excellence Center. So we have our midwives from different countries who are getting training for optimal birth and doula courses with Lily Excellence Center. Yes, I see. We have Victoria from Iran, Khadija Iran, Basma, Veronica. Yeah, and we have Veronica from Puerto Rico. Thank you so much. We have yes. Yes, let's see names again. Athar from UK, Mahsa from Kuwait, Maria from Iran. Yeah, and let me see again. Sport Joan from Oman, Hawa from Somalia. We have Ashar from UK, Betsy from Qatar, Estella from Oman, Mahsa from Qatar, Sarah from Tunisia, Trin Ray from Howdy from Texas, Alice from Rwanda, Nivedita from India. And thank you so much and welcoming all of you. Our registration from Muscat, USA, Serbia, Canada, Peru, Iraq, Iran, UAE, Iran, Indonesia, China, France, Norway, Jordan, Australia, Great Britain, Ireland, South Africa, Uganda, Denmark, Germany, Austria, Sweden, and yes, new attendees. Azadeh from Shiraz, Victoria, Iran. Thank you so much. How was this session for you? How you found it? How did you find this session? Can you turn on your camera? We want to see your beautiful face. Behnaz from Iran, yes. Victoria is written great. Thank you so much. Thank you. You loved it. Thank you, Victoria. Yeah. You want to know the name of movie? Sure. We will share the name of movie with you. As Harry is mentioned, now you should add using computer while taking history, and let's correct that. Could you please let me know the name of the film? Yes, sure. We will share the name of the film.
We just pulled up a poll. You can all, you're all welcome to participate so that we can make the next program, which is on 12th of October, better and more informative.
Yeah, for 10th
Yeah.
October, we have the International Mental Health. Please join us and share your experience, your history, and any knowledge regarding supporting mental health during COVID. Please share with us. Okay, Jiva mentioned, Jiva George, right, great. Thank you, Jiva. Basma written informative lecture. Victoria, thank you, Leila, thank you, Diane, thank you too, Victoria. Vimala Johnson is mentioned, thank you very much for informative lecture. Thanks for the organizer and speaker. Thank you so much, Vimala. Basma Al-Manai, thanks a lot for your presence here. So don't forget, friends, don't forget 10th October, International Mental Health or World Mental Health. We are going to celebrate all of healthcare professionals together. Please share your experience. If you want to share any experience, knowledge, or any activity you've done for mental health during COVID in your industry, share and join with us. So share with us. We'll try to make a very fantastic, amazing celebration with all of you and our attendees from different parts of the globe. Okay, and Khadija mentioned, wrote, thank you all for the nice presentation. Thank you, Khadija. Sarah, it's amazing, thanks. Hanan, thank you, informative lecture. Joanna, Kalezik, thank you. Hope to see you again. Kisses from Cypria. Thank you so much. We are going to have another classes for you, and we will go for midwifery courses, 18-month midwifery courses for nurses who want to be as practitioner nurse midwife with our training committee in India, and we will try to have some other online training for basic midwifery skills with Gail and childbirth classes. Okay, Gail wants to talk. Okay, what else? Let's see, chat box. Turin, I appreciate the sensitivity for which Diane was advocating. Azad's presentation was great. Nivedita, thank you so much for the session. Welcome. Yes, Gail.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
I think Diane did absolutely superb. I am she covered the topic. It's such a deep topic. The thing I want to remember also, though, is the attending, the midwife that attends that meeting, or the doctor that attends that situation of a stillbirth or a miscarriage, also needs someone to talk to. They need support, because as Diane so good presented, that when we're helping the parents, we must listen to them and not talk about our pain, our feelings, our own insecurities, our needs. We need fellow midwives to talk to. We need fellow professional people. You don't have to go for therapy, but you need someone to listen to you, how you feel and what the situation and how it unfolded. So when we're talking about deaths, and Diane pointed out that it affects the children, it affects the mother and the grandparents, it does also affect us caregivers. And we need the support to support each other, not question each other. We need to understand sometimes the situation unfolds. We were not there, but the other midwife or the other doctors or the other team were there. And we need to just support and listen and not criticize and not be saying terrible things like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. Or, oh, really? That's what you did? Those are all bad comments too. So I just wanted to bring that in to share, because we're all midwives. We all care. Remember, my big phrase is it's the caring, not just the care. So I will let you go back to your slides now.
I'm almost done, Gail. Sorry. I had actually completely logged out of my whole Zoom, and I had to change my password. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'll go through the photographs again. I thought everybody was seeing them as I was talking. So the first. Okay,
Yeah.
so the first slide. Yeah. Okay, so the first slide that I was showing you was just the difference that it can make by putting a filter or changing the color of the photograph of the baby. So on the left-hand side, of course, it's a little pink hand, but it does show that it's got a midwife's glove underneath it, and it shows a little bit of the peeling of the skin, whereas the black and white one, it just shows a little hand leaning over something. So it makes quite a difference. And even with babies that we, as I said, that are very, very small, even with miscarriages, you can still do something special for those babies. And this little baby from memory was, I think, about 12 or 13 weeks. And I just, just the mother looked at the little hand and even the veins and the nails. It was just incredible for her to see that. And she was able to take those and acknowledge that she had a baby. I said there's lots of companies that provide very, very good quality things to put babies in. And these are just a few of the ones that we have made for us. We don't have access to those really good ones. But this was a miscarriage. The mother was able to take her baby home and bury her baby, and it made a big difference to her. Footprints, I think most people at least take footprints of their baby, just giving the weight and the date that the baby was born, the time. And again, it's just making that baby recognizable in the life. And it just shows that mother that you're acknowledging that that baby was alive. The next photograph is the one that shows the macerated baby. So it's just to show you the difference, that how simple it is just to make a baby look more presentable. Mothers don't need to see all the skin peeling off, and sometimes they want to look at it, they want to count the fingers, they want to look at their baby. But certainly for those that are struggling with it, just putting a little outfit on it. Sometimes with the maceration, there's a lot of liquid comes out. So what I usually do is I put something soft and waterproof initially over the baby's skin, and it just allows the mother just to hold her baby. It feels like a normal baby with clothes on, and it just looks like she's sleeping. So you can mask a lot of the difficult things that mothers have to see. This is an organization, as I said, that provides us with these little knitted garments for miscarriages and stillbirths and so on. So there are some really beautiful things that you can use to make those babies look like a normal baby. And this is the little baby who's a friend of mine. And she was on her way to her burial, and the mother was able to sit in the car. She was able to hold her baby. The toy was posted from UK, from Granny, and the toy was buried with the baby. And it just allows that mother to look back and see that her baby existed, and it was so important. So what next? We're not going to go through these because I know we're well out of time. Just acknowledging grief and making sure that the whole family are part of that process. And of course, the aftercare. Death does not just happen on the day that the baby dies. All these things have to be recognized. The registration of birth. Is the family going to have a post-mortem? We have a duty to give that information to parents. There's no mother wants to see her baby being cut up in a post-mortem, but sometimes, especially if there's been an abnormality, just very gently supporting them through that and counselling through that, just in view of future births, they may agree to have that done. The suppression of milk is one of the most devastating things. I've stood in so many funerals here and burials, watching mothers with their breasts just pouring milk, absolutely pouring milk. And of course, regular follow-up, not forgetting about them after the baby dies, not forgetting about them after the 2 months, but making sure that their future has got a multidisciplinary team that are involved in their care, that can follow them up. We can't follow up every family that we look after in care, but we can be the advocate for them and trying to make those appropriate referrals. And of course, red flags for major depression. We all know that this can have quite a significant impact on these women and even the families as well, relationship issues. And this is just a few points to how to recognize if a mother is not coping as is expected to be coped with, and just to be able to provide that support for her. And of course, there's one other very important person in this whole process, and that's you and I. And for that family, these are, in a sense, these are our babies too. You know, Gail, you've been delivering babies for so long, and you've built relationships. We build relationships with the families that we care for. We have them sometimes for 9 months. We have them sometimes for longer. And when these babies die, it has a huge impact on us as healthcare professionals. And we have to be able to deal with that as well. I know recently for us, we've had a really bad run of bad outcomes. Unfortunately, not within our clinic, but mothers of ours that have gone to other places and they've had bad outcomes. So we have to watch ourselves. We have to know that we can't be strong all the time, and we do need to debrief and to look after ourselves. So I'm going to finish just with a very, very short video. And again, I thought very carefully when I was putting this video together, and I've shown it to Lily just to make sure that it's appropriate. This is a very short story of a very, very precious little baby who was in our clinic for a long time. The mother came to us throughout her pregnancy. We don't have the luxury of scans and lots of screening tests, but when this mother came to have her baby, she had a wonderful labor. She had a wonderful birth. It was very quick. And the reason that I have included the clip of the baby being born is because I want you to see the type of relationship that can be had with mothers. And that from the beginning of this little girl's journey, right until the day that she died and the day she was buried, even now, we still have contact with that mother. And there was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of fun. We cried together. We cried together. We laughed together. We talked about the baby together. And it was just a very, very special situation. So I hope that nobody gets offended, but there is a little clip of the baby being born, and we are laughing a lot, but even the mother is. And again, the mother has given, she has given permission for this to be shown. So, and this is her journey. Her name was Baby Miracle, and she lived for 6 weeks. She was born with gastroschisis. We didn't realize until after the baby was born. And that 6 weeks, she had surgery. She struggled to stay alive, but she was a real fighter. And the choice of music was even chosen specifically because it's about fighting. And at the end of it, you will see that there is a positive outcome, although it is a journey of grief. So we are all involved. Don't ever think yourself that you're on the outside of somebody's grief. You are part of this, and how you treat these families and how you relate to these families will be one of the most crucial, most special experiences that mother will be able to look back and say that she had around her baby. So let me just see, I need to put it onto the big screen. I'm sharing the screen already. So, your slideshow. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the very last one now. Slideshow, one slide.
So we got the hard camera.
Diane, you'll have to share it. You'll have to share it.
Yeah, Diane, please share it.
Pardon?
You have to share it. You forgot to share the screen.
Sorry. Hey, my goodness, I thought I had it shared. Hang on. It was already shared, I thought. Let me try again. I'm really not technical. It's a good job I'm a midwife. I need to get it onto the.
Yeah, it's correct.
I can't get it onto the.
No, it's
screen.
okay. No, it's good.
No, I need to get it onto the big screen. Hold on.
It's big screen.
I need to get it on the screen to play it.
Yeah, you can play now. Go ahead, my dear.
Okay, there we go.
So I got the hard camera. Good thing she can get off the wall. Camera.
Voices inside my head, voices upon my feet, telling me how I stand, still I'm standing. I'm my side. Oh, I will not fear the night. Oh, because I was made to fight. Yeah.
You can share your story, Diane, because you were telling me a very beautiful story about this scene. Can you please share what happened here?
So that's our little baby Miracle's journey. The last two photographs of the baby were actually after she had died. And I think you'll agree that she just looked like she was sleeping. She actually looked like she was awake, but that was the day she actually died. And this is a short example of what we try to provide for our mothers if they want it. It's just like a photo journal from the beginning to the end. And it's something that they can watch in the future. Of course, in busy units, you can't do that for everybody, but I'm very blessed to be in charge of my own unit, so I can say what we do. And this mother has been a very special mother to us. And you can see at the end that she's fought coming through this. She's fought because she had support coming through this. It's come to the end. So families' lives. And if you're like me, you see it as a huge privilege in doing so. So I realize I've gone way over my time, so I'm very sorry, but thank you for listening, and I hope it's been some help just to give you some ideas as to how you can support your mothers through similar situations.
Thank you so much, dear Diane. It was very fantastic presentation and lecture. And I guess everybody are so overwhelmed with this fantastic knowledge and experience. So, dear friends, if you have any questions, we had one question that they ask about the movie name. If it is possible to share the movie name, please.
Yes, the movie name is called WIT, W-I-T. It's not an easy movie to watch. It's a very, very sad movie, but there are so many big lessons in it. And basically the story is that she's a lecturer herself, so she's a very intelligent woman. And she narrates through her whole story of her journey through cancer, and how she relates to people and different staff members, how they speak to her, how it makes an impact on her experience. I did write down another excellent video for anybody that is doing training with staff in terms of bereavement. It is a UK video. I would have loved to have shown some of it, but there's too much of it I would have wanted to have shown, so you can watch it yourself. It's really excellent if you are doing a training session with your staff. And again, it's specifically about childbirth loss, and it's a story of a stillbirth through a mother's eyes. So it's very interesting to see how they actually interpret things that are said to them. And the name of it's on YouTube. So you just type into YouTube, The Deafening Silence, Stillbirth Through a Mother's Eyes. And it's there on the list of videos. It's really excellent. It's about 25 minutes long. And how I use it is if I have a group of midwives, I give them some observations to make at the beginning. So there are very specific different staff, all who treat the woman differently. And it's about identifying different ways that we interact. So it's an excellent training video if anybody is in that position.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Device Written. Thank you, Diane, such a wonderful presentation. Thank you. And as her is written, it was great and informative presentation. Appreciate to share your experience. Thank you so much. It was wonderful. Vimala written, thank you, Mrs. Diane, such a sensitive session. In Oman, we have 24-month midwifery course. Very good, Vimala. Good luck. We are starting 18-month midwifery course with this training committee in India and even as online. We have two kind of course. One is basic midwifery with childbirth classes for midwife and nurses and childbirth educated and doula. And we have midwifery course for gynecologists and doctors with our gynae and OB multidisciplinary team. So if you are interested, you can send your request for any courses you are interested. So yeah, let's see what else. Okay, any more questions? No, thank you so much. Okay, now without further ado, we will turn the time over to our next presenter, Mrs. Gail Johnson. She wants to add some tips about communication skills in this topic.
Before
Gail, I have wonderful, thoughtful presentation. Yes.
Gail, before you come in, start your session, I would just take a minute and request everyone, to register for our 10th of October World, Mental Health Day. I'm sharing the link over here. We're also sharing our YouTube, and you can follow us there. We request everyone, whosoever is interested, to join us on that session on 10th of October. Thank you so much. Over to you, Gail. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, please,
Well,
Gail.
I'm unmuted. Okay. Diane was absolutely superb. Even with all the problems with the internet, she's still wonderful and much better at it than I am. And it's such a heartfelt topic. And I really don't have a lot to say about you to add, except to have us understand that midwives grieve too. Because we get so close to our families, and I know in Diane's situation and my situation, because we're out of hospital birth midwives, we see our clients a lot. We see them when they drop in just to say hi. We see them when they come for an appointment, and we spend an hour or so more with them every time they come for a prenatal. Here in Canada right now, I found out that even on Zoom meetings for healthcare because of COVID, you get 6 minutes to talk with your doctor about your problem. 6 minutes. And if you have a list of 3 or 4 things, you can't talk about them. You get one topic at one meeting. And I'm horrified to hear this. How can a woman convey her feelings or her pains or the lump in her breast, or that she's spotting having, and maybe she's worrying about a miscarriage, with 6 minutes? It's unbelievable. I find a lot of professional healthcare providers all over the world are given a limited amount of time to communicate. And as Diane pointed out, it's the communications they're going to remember. It's not even what you say, it's how you say it, and the tone of voice and the caring. How can you possibly, as was shown even in the film, how can you possibly convey something that is like a death sentence to somebody just so impartially? I think many of us as women have had that terrible vaginal examination, whether it was just a routine checkup. So I don't think health care providers get enough, enough training in communication skills. And some doctors don't even like to communicate. They leave that all up to the nurses. They leave that all up to the midwives. They just come in and do their job. I've seen women in hospitals, the doctor doesn't even introduce himself. The nurse says the doctor will be in to talk to you in a few minutes. He opens the door, comes in, says his few words, and walks out. And the woman didn't even get his name. So we must understand how important this is. Communication skills can build a stronger woman. Communication skills can also just tear her down till she never gets over it. I find in today's world, many people seem to need more professional counseling than I had with my friends when we had bad situations, because we had women. We had other women who would talk. We had other women who would listen. We had friends. We've lost that somehow in our society today. Nobody feels comfortable talking to their best friend or their girlfriend, or we're moving all over the world and we don't even have a best friend anymore. So that's what's important, is the listening. As Diane said, it's the listening and the caring and not trying to fix it. And you know, when you tell a man a sad story or you tell a man you're in trouble, he wants to fix it. But women know that sometimes we can't fix it. Sometimes we can't change it. Sometimes the woman has a situation that we really can't answer or benefit her much, but we can listen and we can care and we can hug and we can touch and we can keep in touch. As you know, as was said earlier too, You can have a cup of coffee with her. You can go back and see how she's doing months later. I had a family in Belize that lost their baby when it was about 6 weeks old. And I'm still in touch with her, and that's been a year and a half because I care for her and how the 4-year-old and the 5-year-old, well, maybe, I don't know, 6 now, 6-year-old are handling that. And I've seen their albums. And you know, when I still go visit them now, they bring out that album of the baby that died. The kids bring it out. You want to see our sister again? The kids are still bringing this to me. So it's important that we, you know, some people think if you just don't talk about it, it's not going to hurt. And that's the worst thing you can do, whether it's even losing your husband or losing your mother. We need to talk about these people exist in our hearts. They still exist in our lives. And we mustn't forget them. And we shouldn't, because of all the wisdom and the gift. Even a baby that dies gives you a gift. And sometimes we have to search for that gift, but it's there. There's every person you interact with can give you a gift, or they can hurt you very deeply. And we must keep these things in mind. It's, if you can do nothing else in this world but be somebody's friend, if you can do nothing else but just listen, you are giving to that person much more than many, many professionals will ever give them. Every life in your, you know, you don't meet people by accident. One of the things I did as a midwife at the very beginning was I asked the universe, do not send me anybody I can't help. So sometimes even when I didn't think I helped, you find out later on that you did some wonderful thing that maybe to you didn't mean much, but that person will contact you years later and maybe remember one thing you said or one moment that helped her find some strength or wisdom. And so we have to watch our words. Thoughts become words. And sometimes we've all been guilty, myself too, of saying, oh man, I put my foot in it. I shouldn't have said that. But this is a class about communication. This is a class about caring. And I don't know, you all know how much I love midwifery. I don't think, I know I would be as understanding if I hadn't traveled the world like Diane and see people as wonderful as her working in situations, to be honest, that I don't think now at my age I could deal with. But my heart is with her. My heart is with all of you. I can't live your life. I can't live your experiences. And on many levels, I wish I was 40 again so that I could go back and do more and more. I have learned so much from my clients. They have taught me wisdom I never had and would not have had I not met these women. And I saw how they handled their stress. They handled their family pain. They handled the joys in life. And I've learned much more than giving somebody a present. Don't give somebody a present. Give them an experience. If you have a child, take that child to the park. Take them to a movie every Friday. As a grandmother, that's what they're going to remember, is the experience. No one remembers what you got for your birthday present when you were 8 years old, even though when you were 8, that was the one thing you wanted in your whole life. But you do remember someone who was there for you, who you shared an experience with. And what do midwives do? And what do doctors do? We don't even know these people very much. I mean, especially in hospital patients. But we're giving them an experience that will last for them a lifetime. A lifetime, ladies. What you say in that birth, when you think it's just another routine birth, maybe to you, or maybe you're tired yourself, but what happened in that experience is what lasts a lifetime, not a gift. Not even saying I'll pray for you. Saying I'll pray for you means what? you just pass that off because you don't want to spend time with them. You don't want to care for them. You don't want to go and have a cup of coffee with them. You don't want to bring them flowers. You don't want to talk about their baby. What? Sometimes words just fly out the window because it's a way of just not dealing with the situation, because we maybe ourselves don't know how to deal with it. So that's all I have to really say. How can we talk about communication skills? The first thing is to listen, but to listen with a real caring heart and hear the words. Don't be listening and thinking of what you're going to say next. That's not listening. Listening is just being with someone. And listening is sometimes not talking. Mother doesn't talk, you don't talk. You just be there. How many of us have found that when you watch a funny movie by yourself, it's not as funny. It's just not as funny as when you share it with a friend. And when you watch a sad movie, even a sad movie that makes you cry, you don't cry with as much feeling as if you have a friend with you watching that same movie. So we need to be in touch with each other is all I can say. We need to, and this damn COVID thing is driving us all a little bit nuts. We can't do it as much as we used to. We can't hold each other as much. We can't just jump on a plane and say, I'll be there. It's hurting a lot of people. So I guess I just have to stop. There's many classes on communication skills. I can't teach all that. I can't teach all that in an hour. I couldn't teach it in a lifetime because I'm still learning. I'm learning better ways to handle children that drive you crazy. I'm learning better ways to handle difficult clients. I'm learning better ways to talk to doctors and to motivate them to want to have better communications with their patients and also with their staff. It's an art, girls. It's an art. And it's like any other art, it's practice. We learn, we read, we try to take it to heart. And we have to just care for each other. I think being kind, be kind. And when you have joy at a birth, like Diane said, they were laughing and talking and it was a joyous. I still have my spiritual orgasms at birth. And also you can have a great deep silence when we have pain and we lose a baby. And when a mother loses a baby, it's unbelievable. I don't care if she's, I have ladies that had miscarriages at like 8-9 weeks. They'd already picked a name out for the baby. That's a baby, as Diane said. That's not a fetus. That's not cells. That's a baby. I don't care if it's 6 weeks or 8 weeks. When she miscarries, and I have to share this. When I was having babies, we didn't even know we were pregnant until about 3 months. We didn't have ultrasounds. We didn't have little sticks you could pee on to say you were pregnant. So we didn't have the consciousness of the pain of it being a baby. Not as much. We said, oh, well, I missed 2 periods and now this 3rd period is a little clotty. I guess I was just, But now you can pee on a stick and you can be told that you're like 2 weeks pregnant. That woman by 6 or 8 weeks has already got names and shared the joy. And if a mother loses a baby early, what usually happens with the next pregnancy is she doesn't tell anybody she's pregnant. She keeps this special second pregnancy hidden because she's so afraid of hurting other people if she should miscarry again. Even a woman that has had an abortion, she doesn't have an abortion with joy. She knows in today's world that this is a hard decision to make if she does. And I can't be in her shoes and I can't judge her, but I can find later on with her next pregnancy, years later, that she will go back and grieve for the loss of a child. So please don't judge each other. Don't say this, I wouldn't have done this, or it's so hard. And if the woman gives you the gift of sharing a past experience or a past choice that she would not do now, understand that. Not any questions at all. So with that, if someone has a question, or Diane or anybody just wants to share their own personal experience, I lost my firstborn. It changed my life. And I'm not going to share that story now, but it formulated my whole beingness. And here at 80, yeah, I still know exactly when I became the beginning of myself. And it was because of a baby. It was because of a birth. So tell me before I get too carried away here, tell me what questions you have, and I will try to just let you share them with each other. Understand, opening your heart and sharing will help somebody else to grow. Please support each other, and don't be afraid of letting your feelings out, or letting people know that you're hurting, or letting people know that you might understand. Okay.
Thank you so much, Gail. It was very lovely topics, and thank you for your valuable insight on this class. I would also request to all of you to share your presentation, pictures, stories for the World Mental Health Day celebration. And as Gail suggested, let's again to come through that all together. Thank you so much. Please write your question, and if you have, yes, please. Yes, Diane, please. Yeah.
Yeah, just when Gail was talking there, I think in our defense as health professionals, sometimes we come down heavily on ourselves. And I think part of that reason, especially in certain countries and cultures, we are taught that we have to be professional. We are taught that we can't show our emotions, and we are taught that by showing emotions to mothers is going to be somehow damaging to them. Now, of course, there is a very fine line between a midwife breaking down sobbing in front of a mother who has just lost her baby, and the mother comforting the midwife, which I have seen before. But I think there is definitely a benefit for the mother when we show our human nature, regardless of what religion we are, whether we are Muslim, whether we're Christian, whether we're Hindu, Buddhist, whatever. We all have a soul, and that soul dictates who our person is, who our personality is. And having worked in the hospital for many years back home, and having worked here now, I don't think I could ever work in a hospital again, because I know that because of policies and protocols, I will not be allowed to be myself. I don't break down in front of women, but I am not averse to sitting on a bed with a mother and shedding a tear with her. And as Gail said, you know, those are the things that these women remember. So I think we just have to recognize, as I said before, our humanness. And sometimes we have to look at policies and protocols and see, well, is that policy really effective for this mother? So that's all I was wanting to say. Yeah. And we're not taught how to deal with these things. We can go to a book and we can read about theories of grief, and we can do all these lovely diagrams and things. We can read experiences, but at the end of the day, there is no book that is going to teach us what it feels like to hold a macerated dead body. There is no book that's going to teach us how to react to that. And that's one of the most difficult things that I find here is showing myself as a professional, which I always do, but we learn to be able to balance and to do that professionally and appropriately and continue to support that mother.
That was a very fantastic point you added. Thank you so much, Diane. I thank each one of you for joining us and being with us for almost more than 2 hours without a break. We would want to make it more informative and knowledge-packed. Thank to all of you to register. I can see most of you have already registered for 10th October World Mental Health Day. Amazing to see the interest. Please follow us on our YouTube channel. And this topic was a start of working in our emotional management as a midwife or OB doctor. Yeah, I see Sarah is written. I hear people tend to hide their emotion, especially as a doctor or midwife or nurse. They think it is a waste of time. Yes, that's true. Any more comments, questions? Yes, if you want to share. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So, yeah, the meeting now is open for sharing. I guess it looks like we have a few questions. No? Yes? Even you can turn on your camera and ask your questions. Yeah. Okay, it looks like we have covered all of your questions. And at the end of session, I want to introduce one of our training committee, one of our midwifery trainer, Dr. Farzaneh Golboni. She's PhD of midwifery, and she's innovating new midwifery training material and tools in Persian. So Dr. Farzaneh, are you available? She's from Iran and Ministry of Health, and she's one of our training committee member. We had Dr. Ederson. Dr. Ederson from Brazil. He's our gynae doctor that professional midwifery training for doctors. So we have already midwifery training packages for midwives, nurses, and for doctors. Our courses will be started from November, and we have choice-based class for nurses, midwife, and doula with Jill Johnson and our team. It will be a very fantastic session that it will be a start from end of October as well. So Dr. Farzaneh, are you? Oh yeah, Dr. Farzaneh is here, please. Dr. Farzaneh, we are honored to have a fantastic team here. Yes, welcome, Doctor.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to join you. It's my honor, and the presentation is very impressive, especially the last video, and it's very impressive for me and for all midwives around the world, and how to encounter from this sadness situation. It's very hard for all of us. So I'm Dr. Farzaneh Golboni, faculty member of Ministry of Health and the board member of Scientific Association of Midwifery from Iran. And I have working in a large maternity hospitals with the students more than 12 years in Iran. And since 2017, I have working as an expert faculty member in Ministry of Health. And I have had a good collaboration with UNFPA Iran in order to preparing the midwifery 100 academic midwifery profile. It's a very good collaboration with UNFPA, and It's prepared in English, and I hope it's published as soon as possible. Because of COVID-19 pandemic, it's the time is over, and I didn't know it's published or not. I didn't know, and the UN expert was changed in Iran, and I have no news from the 100 academic profile that I prepared for 6 months. In my experience as a trainer, a midwife trainer during 12 years, I knew that we have lots of educational theoretical books for midwifery practice and maternity, but we didn't have enough good practical skills books. So I and my team decided to write a practical book for midwifery 7 years ago. And now the book won the 3 prizes from Minister of Health, WHO, and the book of a year, the last year. It's the prizes of the book of a year. The name of the book is Midwifery Practice Skills in Delivery Ward, A to Z for all midwife and for OBGYN assistant. And it's very, very fundamental information for all midwives around the world. And I hope we can translate it and publish it for all midwives that it had a good information for all midwives. But 2 years ago, at the same time with COVID-19 pandemic, we started the new features of the books. You know, the new books, the last book that I can see you, show you, the books is the practical book for midwifery with multimedia. That, you know, it can practical midwifery book with practical video inserted as with a QRL. That you see, the book had a practical pictures and videos that inserted this QRL. You know, with your mobile, you can see the video of us that educated the practice, all practice of midwife for each chapters. It's very fundamental, and I hope we will translate it for all midwives around the world. Thank you so much. It's my honor to join the Lilly Center Scientific Board, and thank you, Leila, for this opportunity to present my books. Thank you.
It's a pleasure, Dr. Farzaneh. We are so honored to have you in our training committee. And your innovative, creative work is always shining and brilliant in Iran midwifery training and education. Actually, Iran midwifery training with 100 years academic background is owed to such a brilliant professor like you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leila. It's my honor to join.
Thank you. All of our training committee, they have a book that they publish, like Gail Johnson. She has a wonderful book. She's author and writer of that book, and I want her to introduce her book. If you want to buy her fantastic book and her experience, you can order through Amazon. Tales of a Traveling Midwife by Gail Johnson. And you can learn from this experienced midwife, Dr. Golwani, Gail, and our other members, these important tips of midwifery. We are with you. Yes, Tales of a Traveling Midwife by Gail Johnson. And please, thanks a lot. And please, if you have any question, write in the chat box. Hope to see you for 10th October. I think we are good for now, and thank you everyone. We have come to the end of our webinar. Thank you everyone who made this meeting possible. Thank you, Gil. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Farzaneh. And thank you, Dr. Ederson. He wants to come to talk, but unfortunately he's busy with other training. And thank you for all of you. Please come again and join us for our next program. Don't forget, 10th October, 10 to 12 a.m. World Mental Health Celebration. It would be very fantastic event, and please share your experience, your stories, and any interesting presentation regarding these topics. You are invited to this Zoom meeting, and we share the link with you. And after registering through this link, you will receive a confirmation email containing information about joining the meeting. Please register from there. Please, for the end of the session, turn on your camera and let's have one group picture together, if you don't mind. We will be happy to see your beautiful, strong face. Thank you so much. Please turn on your camera. لطفاً دوربیناتون رو روشن کنید دوستان عزیزم. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us from 17 countries, Europe, Middle East, and US and Canada. Thank you so much for joining, and your being patient. Stay more than 2 hours without any break with us. Thank you, everybody. We love you so much. Diane written with the presentation. Yes, please don't forget. We want to see you again. And we have many midwifery training programs. We have a diploma program. We have a 18 months nurse practitioner nurse midwife program, online, physically classes, both. And we have midwifery courses for OB professionals. Please turn on your cameras, please, and smile. We want to see your beautiful smiling face, please. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please register for 10th October, and you may send in your stories, videos, or presentation for 10th October. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lily Excellence Center team from India, and thank you, IT system, IT support, and thank you again, Diane, Gil, and Dr. Farzaneh. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so excited to see these beautiful faces. Please turn on your cameras. Thank you so much. We want to have a fantastic group picture. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much. We have a beautiful, fantastic faces from different parts of the world. It is so interesting. So interesting. Thank you so much again. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please. We are waiting. We should have a group picture together. Please turn on your cameras. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please share your comment and suggestion and feedback. We want to make you many more informative classes in midwifery, and we are looking to hear from you, please. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Shake your hand and wave at each other. Let's shake each other's hand from different parts of the world. We are together. We are together. We help, empower, and support each other. We are in Lily Excellence Center with you from India and connecting all of the world together. You midwives are always with each other. We are with you and we have each other. We never feel alone. Thank you so much. Oh, Estella, thank you so much for such an informative session. Thank you, Estella. Have a nice day there, guys. See you 10th October, 10 to 12 a.m. India time, IST. Love you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye. Khuda hafiz. Ma'assalam. Namaste. Shab bekhair. Adios.